This is Heartrepreneur Radio, maximizing your personal and business results by leading with your heart. With your host, Terri Levine. Listen every week as Terri tackles the topics that will help you become a successful heart-centered entrepreneur. Be sure to read the blog posts at www.heartrepreneur.com/blog. Come back often and add this show to your favorite RSS feed or subscribe in iTunes. You can also follow Terri on Twitter at MentorTerri and on Facebook.com/Heartrepreneur Terri Levine. And now here's Terri.
Welcome to Heartrepreneur Radio and TV. I'm your co-host, Velma Gallant, and I'm excited to be here today with you. You can connect to Terri Levine, me, and other like-minded, heart-based business owners in Heartrepreneur with Terri Levine Facebook group. Go check it out. And of course, make sure you like our show, and we always appreciate those 5-star reviews. I'd like to start today's show off with another quote. I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. Maya Angelou. Today's show topic is how you can turn customer complaints into rave reviews and referrals. Our special guest this show is Alex Zlatin. Oh, I hope I said that right. Alex is the author of Responsible Dental Ownership. His website is alexzlatin.com. We'll spell that out for you later. He's had more than 10 years of management experience before he accepted the position of CEO of dental practice management company Maxim Software Systems. He earned his MBA at Edinburgh Business School and a Bachelor of Science in Technology Management at HIT in Israel. His company helps struggling dental professionals take control of their practices and reach the next level of success with responsible leadership practices. Welcome to the show, Alex.
Thanks, Velma. I'm honored to be here.
So I love the topic that you chose for today's show of turning customer complaints into rave reviews and referrals. There's a thought of the customer's always right, and there's another thought of I know what I'm doing. You know, there's a lot of ways that we can actually play with customer service. And the topic that you've chosen today, I know you're an expert when it comes to dental practices, but this is something really any business can take on. Can you tell me a little bit about why you picked this topic?
Definitely. You know, customer service is a vast subject, and specifically more and more we're seeing the importance of your online footprint as a brand, as a company, as an organization. And we live in a world where social media and everyone has an outlet for their opinion, whether we like it or not. And our business corresponds to receiving those messages from clients, whether they really like us or they don't like us. And you know what I've noticed through many businesses, and not just dental, like you mentioned, is that customers would usually post a review in one of two scenarios. One, obviously, they had a bad experience, and it was bad enough for them to take some time of their own and share it with other people. And the second one happens less frequently, unfortunately, is when customers have had that exceptional interaction and they want to take time out of their day and share it with the world as well. And as a business, it's important to know how to navigate both scenarios, but not only that, because everyone says, yeah, you should respond to negative reviews as much as you respond to positive ones. I think one of the most important things is we need to encourage people who have had a mediocre or a nice experience to share their thoughts with people. The more reviews we have, the more experiences and different experiences people can read through. So it's not just either, black or white, good or bad. Different people have different needs, and the company needs to know how to handle all of them, whether good or bad. And also, a lot of people are really scared of bad reviews. They think that their company can be destroyed by a single review. And the reality is, it's not like that. Consumers have become really savvy in the last probably 5 years. And also, specifically, Google My Business is where a lot of the reviews are coming from, are always changing how the reviews are structured. So two things to note is, in terms of consumer behavior, when people are looking for businesses and they are looking at the reviews, if before what they would do is they would sort it, bad to good. So they would want to read the bad ones first and see, what's the worst that has happened, with customers here. Then what was happening today is Google has actually created a keyword search within the reviews. So the system automatically scans through all of the reviews and puts out keywords from them. And by clicking that, it would display all of the reviews with that keyword. So for instance, if you're looking for a bakery nearby and you search for bakery, you look at one of the bakeries there, and one of the keywords is fresh. Then this is something that, creates that already kind of a set expectation of what can you expect going to the bakery. On the other hand, if you have keywords like rude, then you kind of get that different feeling. And consumers today are getting lazier and lazier. So they don't want to go through the reviews. They want to see, hit the keyword, get that 3 to 4 seconds of a first impression of a business, and then make a decision, either we want to work with that business or not. So maintaining that online footprint, that digital asset of reviews, whether good or bad, is extremely important. And I think another thing that is very important to understand, and I've seen many businesses have it wrong, especially hotels. The hotel industry is terrible with that, is how do you respond to reviews? And a lot of times, and you can compare it, you can go to TripAdvisor, look at any hotel and see how they respond. And it's more of a cookie cutter template that they put in. Maybe they've changed the name. And this is just not the right way to create that experience that you want for when people are reading it.
So I'm just gonna pause you for a second. So some of the things that I heard is the reviews. We really want to have people invite our customers to leave a review, even if it's not, stellar, and even if it's not terrible, because it actually gives us as business owners some data to go by. Like, what is the typical experience of our customers? Are there ways that we could be bringing it over to stellar? Are we managing the ones that, and supporting the ones that didn't come across as stellar? And what I also heard was that the technology is starting to catch up with what's going on in the, I think one of the terms is called word clouds. So it's kind of creating word clouds from all of these reviews. So really, that's excellent information for business owners as well. Like, what word clouds coming up? What are the typical words that coming up? What are the typical words you'd love to be inspiring your customers to be putting up there? So did I hear you correct?
100%. This is exactly what it is, and you can facilitate a certain review and request customers to mention a specific service or a specific experience that they had with your business, so it catches on that word cloud that you mentioned. And I want to touch upon the first point that you made about having those reviews reflect the day-to-day operations of your business. It's very rare that we as business owners go and experience our company from the customer's point of view. Not a lot of times we go and visit our own website as if we are a potential client, or walk in to the coffee shop and buy a coffee as a customer, so we kind of can understand what is the customer experience. A lot of businesses, the business owner enters from the back and not from the front. So a lot of times you can't even understand what the entrance experience is for the customer. So having those reviews and more day-to-day reviews just give you an opportunity to say, okay, all of the processes and the tools that we use to create that good of experience have failed in, A, B, and C. Let's tweak it a little bit and let's get another batch of reviews and see, were we able to have that good experience? Another very good way of doing it outside of the reviews is to survey your existing customers. When you collect their contact information, just ask them, say, we're thinking of adding this new service. What do you think? Or we've already added this. Did you have a chance to try it out? If not, here's 5% discount or something. And
Right.
get that feeling back and forth, so you know that the decisions that you are making for your business actually make sense for your customers. And I think that's a good way to not only improve your business, but also create those emotional connections with your customers year round.
And some continued connection with them. Like I know I was invited to leave a review in exchange for a discount. And so this was for a dog product that I'd heard about from a group that I was in. And so once I received it and actually tested the product, I left a review. It was more this is what I'm looking for. This is what my first experience was. This is what I'm looking forward to. And it was a very personalized response that I ended up getting in regards to that review as well, which was, again, I thought really positive, because if somebody else is coming on there, they were leggings for dogs. Okay. Like it just keeps the boots on them. I have a short dog and he kicks them off. So, I videotaped me putting them on him. Right. I didn't put the video up there because I was really slow at doing it. But the response was that I'm excited about the possibility of this. It was a little bit of work to get them on at first, but I know I'm going to get better. And what I hope the next person that comes along gets is that, this is something that's good. You're not going to get it right the first time, but keep persisting. So it's kind of like that middle of the road
Yeah,
referral that you were
I,
talking to.
I agree. And the funny part is a lot of business owners ask me, is it ethical to provide customers with incentives in order for them to put a review? Would the customer feel that they have to provide a positive review of their experience because they got something in return? And the reality is, well, your customers are going to have different moral compasses, every single one. And at the end of the day, you as a business need to be able to look yourself in the mirror and, be able to sleep at night. And I don't think that necessarily providing any incentive is a bad thing. You are providing them with some sort of a gift in kind for their time. And I think that it's a valid transaction and people shouldn't shy away from it. They are building their online reviews as an asset through their customers, and I think that a little incentive is not really bad. If anything, it creates a feeling to the customers that their time is appreciated.
Exactly. It puts a bit of value on it. It's, to me, and this is me personally, to me, it says, I value your opinion and I value it enough. Here's something to show you how much I appreciate it. And I think that also, you're also going to be playing on the relationship that you've hopefully already built with them, in that I'm a person of integrity. I see you as a person of integrity. I'm giving you this gift, and tell me the truth, right? Tell me the truth, because I want to be able to serve you better, right?
Exactly. That's 100% true. And you know, a funny thing about reviews is a lot of people think that you can take a really bad experience that a customer had, work some magic, and turn them into your brand ambassador. And the reality is it's very, very difficult to do. But what is important is if you do not address a negative experience, then that person will forever be a negative advocate for your business and service.
Mm-hmm.
So what you want to do is you want to turn that negative experience into a neutral one. You want to say, look, we have really addressed all of the points. We've changed our process, we changed our policies, we tweaked the product, whatever that might be. Obviously, it has to make business sense. And we would welcome you to try our experience again. Hopefully, this would be a positive one. That would keep a customer's experience neutral. And what you want to try and do is you want to try to bring the ones that have a mediocre experience, a normal, a fine experience. And those are the customers you want to try to make your brand ambassadors, because those, to move them from having just an okay experience to an experience that they would speak about with their friends and family, is exactly that little gap that you can bridge to have a better word of mouth, better online presence, and just overall better impact on your neighborhood, on your community.
Right, right. And that makes a lot of sense, because really you're incrementing each of the reviews up. So you're incrementing your less than positive experience up to hopefully a mediocre experience. And I know I've seen a lot of those reviews where they say, they'll add an update and say, this is what the customer service I received to resolve this occurred as. Because I think you'll find that most people, that's a reflection of their integrity. A lot of people are going to be, yeah, I did have a negative enough experience that I said something about it, and they did something about it. So for the same reason that I left this one, I want to update it, right? And then, like you said, taking the ones that are kind of mediocre and amping it up a notch. Again, if they took the time to leave it was good, it was fine. They're probably going to go, holy crap, this is what happened after that. Can you believe it? Right. And that, I think, is pretty amazing. And I think the opportunity that some businesses, there's opportunities that they miss out on by not taking your advice and taking that information and doing something with it as well. They think neutral, okay, good enough. I only have to deal with the bad. But that's not true, what you're saying here.
Yeah, you have to basically take action on every single experience if you practically can. Turning the negatives into neutral ones, turning the neutral ones into positive ones, and even leveraging your brand ambassadors. And it's like in any relationship, it must have maintenance. You have to maintain that positive relationship that you have. So, reaching out to your brand ambassadors and saying, look, here are 10 gift cards that you can share with your friends and to get them this positive experience that you're already getting. They are giving those out to their friends, so they are receiving that type of a value. Look, I'm giving you this discount or whatever that is. The business is getting exposure, so everyone wins. So I think that there are things that you need to do as a business, as an owner, as an entrepreneur, with every single interaction that you have with customers. And that is the way to organically, naturally grow your business. Is if you make it a point to interact with each and every customer. And when you're just starting out, it's a no-brainer because you don't have a lot of these customers going around. But the more interactions you have post sale with those customers, the more they feel that you care. And obviously you care because you're investing your valuable time in understanding, is your business creating that added value that you have set out to provide to customers? And a lot of times we forget about it. We think about our new product and our new facility, but we forget that we have to create value on a daily basis for clients, and we have to look back and see, were we able to deliver?
So just so that our listeners have an opportunity to be able to connect with you, can you share with us how can we connect you? What's the best way for us to get a hold of you and connect with you?
Definitely. So the easiest would be on social media, whether Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn. It's just my name, so Alex Zlatin. And the website you mentioned earlier, alexzlatin.com, is a way to look at the specific things that I do, learn more about the book I wrote, which actually applies probably about 80 to 90% of what's in there applies to any small and medium business.
And I think that's an excellent point. And I just want to spell your name, Zlatin. Yes, I'm Canadian. And I think that's a really important point, because a lot of people will read biographies and pull the bites out of it. So why couldn't we read business books directed to specific services or that kind of thing that can apply to us? Because I'm a white knuckle rider when it comes to dentists. And so a dentist that offers excellent customer service, to me, is really important. I mean, I love my dentist and I keep going back, and I do speak to people who are like me that are white knuckle riders, and say, this is how she treats me. Right. So I think it's, again, I love your idea. I'm going to go back to what you were talking about just before I interrupted you to kind of share with our listeners where to find you. You talked about giving current customers referral cards, like a little cards to be able to give out to others. And I think that's a brilliant idea, because what you're doing is you're actually collaborating with your current clients, and they get something of value. You refer this many people, you get this, or for each referral you get this, and we love you enough that we want to talk to the people that you love, and so here's a gift for them. It really is kind of that circular connection, and it goes back to that quote that I mentioned at the beginning: they will never forget how you make them feel. They feel valued.
Yeah, I think, making that emotional connection with your customers and staff is absolutely key to any business. The ability to understand what is important to the client, and then focusing all of your efforts, all your operational efforts in delivering that, and then measuring. And the measuring is that feedback that you receive from them. Did it meet your expectation? Did it exceed your expectation? And I think also an important component is, specifically for businesses who are based on repeat buys, is, did you have a consistent experience throughout time? That's also very important, because you can have an exceptional service, but then it's not consistent. It's very challenging, especially in restaurants. If the food is not consistent, you order the same dish and it just comes out differently, you're not necessarily going to recommend that to anyone, because you don't know which day they're going to fall on. So for repeat business, you want to make sure not only that you were able to meet their expectation, but also that you delivered a consistent experience throughout the time. So let's say they buy once a month. So every 6 months, you would do kind of a survey or a question or a review or an interview or whatever the process that you want to incorporate with your customers to understand, were you able to deliver that? That's another parameter that's very important for those repeat businesses.
You mentioned something about the relationship with your staff. I thought that was really, I really want to bring that back into the conversation, because I think your staff are going to hear things from their customers as well. And the happier staff is, the better relationship they're going to be building with your customers too. So I see that as a really important dynamic for business owners to pay attention to as well.
You are 100% correct. The reality is, any entrepreneur dreads the day where they have to bring on staff, because they know that no one is going to be able to bring the same level of heart into the business as the person who owns it. And I think this is where I go back to Simon Sinek and, purpose-driven businesses is, you need to not only bring in customers that are in line with your purpose, but your team members must be in line with your purpose. They need to understand, why was this business created? Why are we coming to work every morning? Why is it important? Why is our service crucial to these customers? And I think that creates that uniformity in how you work, and also is able to create that consistency of service that we really are looking for. I truly believe that having staff hired based on the understanding of the purpose and the core values of your organization, these are so important. And before I had to create ones, I really thought it was just a lot of fluff. Only when I had to create those and going through that, very intimate process, I realized how important that is. The core values to me and my team members are almost like the North Star. These are elements that help you make decisions throughout the day, because that is the expected behavior. And I think that, that creates that consistency, because every time something is not working properly, when you have a mediocre experience or a negative experience, you always go back and you evaluate in retrospect the situation based off of your core values. Have we exhibited the core values that we believe in this scenario? How can we exhibit them better in the future? So I think that's kind of a better way of understanding and creating that consistency throughout, whether you have one staff member or 100.
So what I heard from that is, when you're building your staff, it's of value for you to be connecting with and choosing staff that have similar core values to you. Understand like the why of the organization. And I think what that does is that actually equips them to be able to make the organization's clients feel as important as you would want them to feel. It arms them to be your advocate as well, the organization's advocate.
Exactly. And, I think the key point here is, in today's world, people don't just have a job for the money, because they can get paid the same amount working in a big company, in a small company, in a service-based company, in a call center. They can have pretty much the same hourly wage. So it's important for them to choose the place that fits their personality, that's going to challenge them, that's going to put them in a position where they can do things that they enjoy. Those are the things that bring value to people more than just the pay, because the pay you can get them at any other job. And those are the team members that you want to have, because those are the ones that really believe in what they do, and the customers will feel it right away.
So it sounds like what you teach is really a holistic approach, that it's getting solid with who you are and why you're doing what you're doing, bringing on staff that mirror that, and training them well, giving them what they need to be able to offer the customers, who again are going to connect to why you're doing this. And then that just ends up being a really, again, another wonderful circular relationship, that you end up with a relationship with your staff and your customers.
Yeah, I agree. I believe in a overall win-win-win scenario, because from any interaction or transaction that you do, you must receive value and you must provide value. And in those relationships is what helps them kind of thrive and build on it.
Well, and when your customer feels that they have received the value, they're going to continue to keep coming back to you, and you will continue to keep receiving the value for your services. So you're happy customer, happy life.
Although it doesn't rhyme, but that is very true. And in essence, it's happy team, happy clients. And when you're building a team, that's just the relationship that happens.
Awesome. So I really want to thank you, Alex, for coming to Heartrepreneur Radio and TV. I think you've shared some wonderful value for our listeners. And again, for those of you listening, you can find Alex at Alex Zlatin, AlexZlatin.com. You can find him on social media. And you can look up his book. I'm sorry, what was the name of your book?
Responsible Dental Ownership. Responsible
Dental Ownership. And if you're a biography and business book kind of person, go check it out. And lastly, I thank you so much for coming to Heartrepreneur Radio and TV. Again, you can find us on Facebook at Heartrepreneurs with Terri Levine. And we look forward to connecting you with all of you again. Be sure to like our show. And as I said earlier, we always love those 5-star reviews. And thank you so much for coming, and we'll see you again next week.
Thanks for having me, Velma. It was great.
You've been listening to Heartrepreneur Radio, maximizing your personal and business results by leading with your heart, with your host, Terri Levine. This show is produced every week for your enjoyment and education. To make sure you never miss a single show, add us to your favorite RSS feed or subscribe in iTunes. You can also read Terri's latest blog posts at www.heartrepreneur.com/blog, or follow Terri on Twitter at MentorTerri and on Facebook.com/Heartrepreneur Terri Levine. Your questions and comments are always welcome and appreciated. Send them to Terri on either Facebook or Twitter. Thank you for listening.